Hey there everybody, Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today we're going to take a look at the pretty cool catalog of a fairly popular band within the stoner rock or stoner metal genre. Some folks also call them kind of psychedelic metal, psychedelic rock, doom, psychedelic stoner rock, stoner metal, I don't know, whatever the hell you want to call them. They're a really heavy band. We're talking about wofat, okay, W-O-F-A-T. Basically a really cool power trio. Their debut album came in 2006, so they're not quite around for 20 years, but they've been pretty active on the stoner scene for the last 15 years or so. We've got 6 studio albums. They're actually supposedly going to be releasing their 7th at some point this year, but that's kind of to be determined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank the 6 albums that have been released up to this point. I've got 5 of them on CD copy. The other one I do not have a hard copy of, so I'm going to rank them in the order that I like them. Okay, I will say all 6 that I have, or that I know, 5 that I have, 1 that I don't own, but I'm well familiar with. Not a stinker in the lot. This is a very, very solid catalog. So considering their first album came out in 2006, it's now 2021. So 6 studio albums in roughly 15 years. Not very prolific, but they've made it count. Okay, so guys in the band, we've got Kent Stump on guitars and vocals. We've got Michael Walter on drums and backing vocals. Currently in the band, Zach Busby on bass. Former members, we've got Tim Wilson on bass, who left in 2015. And Michael Walter also on bass, who played briefly in the band shortly after Tim left before Zach came into the band. So, like I said, I'm going to start from my least favorite. Although, like I said, I like all of these quite a bit, and go to my number 1 favorite. So the first one, let me find it here. There we go. The Black Code from 2012. 2012. All right. This is the first, I believe this is their first release on Small Stone Recordings. So Small Stone, pretty cool little label that specializes in kind of stoner, 70s style bluesy hard rock, that sort of thing. This album for me is a little less on the psychedelic end of things, more straightforward, kind of really heavy bluesy stoner metal. Still really good, though. Lost Highway is a great track. That's the opening track. It just kind of pulses and grooves. A lot of fuzz on the guitar. If you love kind of big fuzz riffs, distorted riffs, that pay homage to Black Sabbath, Pentagram, St. Vitus, maybe a little Trouble, that sort of thing, but with a lot of jams and psychedelic freakouts, man, you come to the right place. What else we got here? The big, bruising, lengthy title track is really good on here. You got this rampaging, fuzz, dripping slide guitar on Heard It Gone, another really good track. The Shard of Long, all right, is or the Shard of Length, sorry, not Shard of Long, is probably the most psychedelic track on here. This is not, some of their other albums have a little more of the psychedelic element, but this is the one track on here that's, it's really long, lots of guitar solos, with delay and wah-wah, a little univibe, what it sounds like, might be phaser, but also some really cool, brutal riffing towards the end. And then you got Sleep of the Black Lotus, which is the big, lengthy track to finish off the album. Massive, sludgy, doom, really strong album. The fact that it's coming at number 6 is almost like, I almost feel bad because I like it a lot. It's really good. But, you got to put these in some kind of order. So I would say that's probably my least favorite of all of them, but I dig it quite a bit. Next up, let me find it here. Okay, so from 2016, the most recent one, Midnight Cometh. All right. This is really, really cool. Very cool cover. I'm trying to think if they've ever had any pictures of them on these. I don't remember. But Midnight Cometh. Sensational album. You got the head-banging gallop of There's Something Sinister in the Wind, which kicks things off. Most of their first tracks on all these albums are pretty amazing. It's got some just crushing riffs. You've got Riffborn, Okay, you can kind of tell what that's all about, right? Has a kind of slight like Monster Magnet and a little bit of a punky vibe. It's a little bit faster of a tune. Of Smoke and Fog is like this kind of weird like psychedelic acid trip. Killer guitars, screaming wah-wah solos. If you love wah-wah guitar solos, man, you've come to the right place here. 3 Minutes to Midnight's got plenty of that as well. The Beefy Nightcomer, just a really, really good album, really strong. And I remember when this came out a few years back, I was like, wow, these guys can like do no wrong. I'm telling you. Really good stuff. All right, next up, coming in at number 4, 2014, The Conjuring. Another really, really great album. Also on Small Stone. Yep. You got the slow, pulverizing title track. The epic, apocalyptic Dreamwalker. I think it's like, 17 minutes and change. Loaded with fuzz guitar, big bass riffs, pounding drums, and it flat out grooves. That's what I like about this band. The grooves are massive. I mean, a lot of these tunes just kind of twist and pulse and ooze, and it's just so good. You've got the bulldozing Black Sabbath St. Vitus love of Read the Omens. Another really, really great track. Just so much good stuff. Beggar's Bargain has a little Corrosion of Conformity kind of feel to it. It's a really great album. And most of their albums, with the exception of one of them, they're fairly compact. They may only have like 5 or 6 songs, jam-packed 40, 50 minutes long, which is just absolutely perfect, right? Most of the tracks are like, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes long, thereabouts. So really, really cool stuff. All right, the one I do not have a hard copy of is their debut from 2006 called The Gathering Dark. This is a really good debut, man, just chock full of lumbering, fuzz-laden Sabbath riffs. I mean, it's easily their most Black Sabbath-inspired album. They're probably their straight-up doomiest album, maybe. The Wolf, you got Manchuriet Syndrome. Title track, and they do this, a little bit of this on almost all their albums. The title track has some cool kind of like Southern rock style slide guitar stuff going on. Like at times they have this like Southern rock thing going on, which is pretty cool. Think of like a really heavy Lynyrd Skynyrd or Molly Hatchet or something like that. You got the Slow and Bruising From Beyond, which is a great song. The Fuzzorama of El Brujo. Love that song. The Wild Psychedelic Romp of Running the Voodoo Down, which, man, Feedback Fuzz, Freak Out City. Such a great song. You got a cool cover of Mountain. That's right, Leslie Weston Mountain. Dreams of Milk and Honey, which I love. They do a great job on it. On this album, the vocals are kind of the weakest part of the album. I think definitely his vocals are, you wouldn't say he's a great singer, but his vocal style really fits the music. And I think that the first album, the vocals are probably the weakest out of any of the albums. They still kind of figure their way. But I think, like I said, it really just fits the music really well. So I don't really mind them. But it's not like you're listening and saying, oh my God, what great vocals, right? But they do the trick. But in most of the cases, it's Kent's guitars that are really at the forefront, right? So, all right, now the top two. These are almost interchangeable. These are both amazing. I switched these back and forth a couple times, but I'm going to go with Noche del Chupacabra, all right, from 2011. This is a little more of a faster-paced album, whereas some of the other albums got this really slow stoner sludge thing going on. This is more of just kind of like more of a contemporary stoner rock thing. Kind of like Monster Magnet, Crowbar, Corrosion of Conformity, that sort of thing. It's got a slightly more accessible sound, no less heavy though. Lots of fat riffs, just absolutely jacked with fuzz. Just love it. Bayou Juju has some killer guitar solos, and it's quite heavy. Descent into the Maelstrom just absolutely crushes. Tons of groove, just mountainous riffs on top of each other. Just killer. Common Ground, again, brings those heavy grooves, right? Loads of fuzz. It's kind of like COC, Corrosion of Conformity meets Crowbar. Love it. I love both of those bands. Phantasmagoria is an absolute delight. I mean, it's just this sludgy, stoner, southern, psychedelic, freak-out song. It's just hard to describe. It's just so cool. The drums are absolutely booming. The riffs, you got crazy slide guitar solos. Title track is just this, like, epic journey into like psychedelic doom with a never-ending supply of like effects laden guitar solos and fuzz bass. It's just so good. A killer album. I would if you're asking me, Pete, I've never listened to these guys, where's the best place to start? I would say start with this one, or my number one, which is Psychedelic. Naught. That's how you say it. Very cool cover. From 2009. Just trying to see if there's any pictures of the band here. Yeah, you know what? I don't think they have any pictures of themselves in any of these CDs. Even more kind of psychedelic and kind of early doom than the debut. This, I think, definitely took the psychedelic avenue of the band further than the debut, whereas the debut's got a lot of cool like Sabbath stuff going on. This takes all that heaviness but really goes into the extended songs with all these weird like acid trip types of guitar solos. You got the title track is 10 minutes of stoner rock glory, wah-wah guitars, pounding drums all over the place. Enter the Riffian crushes. I love that title. Enter the Riffian. That's what this band is all about. Analog Man, again, brings to mind a little bit of Monster Magnet as well as Corrosion of Conformity. Tons of groove, lots of wah-wah. To the Hard Way throws in some cool like little Deep Purple elements, which is kind of neat. It's a little like almost Hammond organ things going on there. Shake 'Em On Down, again, has that little Southern rock thing going on. Lots of slide guitar. The Spheres Beyond, if you love vintage, jammy, like late 60s, early 70s Pink Floyd, Ummagumma, Echoes, that sort of thing, you will love that song. This is the longest album. This is the one that's got the the most tracks and a lot of long stuff. This one I think is just under an hour or thereabouts. Great album. Probably my favorite, but you know what? These two are just about neck and neck. You can't go wrong with either one of these. So, Psychedelic, number one, Noche del Chupacabra, Night of the Chupacabra. Number three, we're going to go with The Gathering Dark, which I don't have. Number four, The Conjuring. Number five, Midnight Cometh. And number six, we're going to go with The Black Code. I would urge you, if you like this sort of thing and you haven't listened to these guys, just go out and get them all. They're really cool. They have a Bandcamp page where I think you can order most of this stuff, either on digital or CD. So definitely check them out, and hopefully we'll get that new album from them sometime this year. We'll see. If they do release it, I'm sure we'll be reviewing it on here on the channel. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube all the damn time. So coming up on the channel, we've got some cool stuff coming up tomorrow. We've got another edition of In the Prog Seat this week with Steve Feigenbaum and Ken Golden from Cuneiform Records and the Laser's Edge, respectively. They both have their own record label and do lots of internet mail order stuff. These guys know a ton about prog rock and jazz fusion. They've been in the business forever, so we're going to talk to both of those gentlemen tomorrow about what's the state of the industry these days and how they're seeing things on their end, okay, as far as releasing stuff for their own bands on their own labels, as well as the mail order business and how that's going, and how has Corona kind of affected that and what they're seeing, right? So we don't normally hear from that side of the business. So we got them coming on tomorrow night on The Monsters Den. Man, we've got the original producer and director of the cult classic from the 80s, Spookies, along with the team that helped put together the documentary on the Spookies Blu-ray release, which came out not long ago. So join Chris Allo, Dan Brown, and Rich Catino and myself with all these guest stars who are going to be talking about the movie Spookies, which if you haven't seen it, it's an absolute blast. So check that out tomorrow night. We've got Martin Popoff back in the house on Friday morning. We're going to be doing part 2 of legendary albums with kind of crappy album covers, right? Then this weekend, we've got Lynn Versace coming back on the show. Lynn and I will be giving you our top 10 songs from Meatloaf. Rich Catino and I will be doing Sunday morning brunch. We're going to be ranking the albums of Tigers of Pantang, new wave of British heavy metal legends. And then, of course, next week we've got Hudson Valley Squares on Monday, and Tuesday, another edition of In the Prog Seat, which is the all Alan Holdsworth show. So, man, all sorts of stuff happening. All sorts of stuff happening, so you do not want to miss any of it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Click that notification bell so you get notified every time we have a new video that has been posted. If you want to make a donation, we got the Ko-Fi link below, and also a link to our merch page. We can get cool shirts like this one, which I just found out yesterday is like the most popular shirt on the store that people have been buying. So I'm glad everybody seems to love this one. I do too. I wear it quite a bit. So anyway, we'll see you guys real soon. All right, take care. Bye bye.